He's got to get signed in to call roll, so.
Don't sign in.
Where'd you go?
If you're handicapped, don't we have, can we sit to do the pledge?
Or the cold blended?
Yeah, I was outside today.
It is cold.
Whenever the tree's ready. We got, okay,
You good? Hold on, give me like,
I'm still working. I'm still working.
Ryan,
it's not coming out.
What are you gonna do, go back to the computer again?
Oh, I had,
all right, Mayor.
Ready?
Yeah.
All right, say the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Trustee Finley, Trustee Mitchell, Trustee Mitchell, Trustee Sheets,
Yes.
Trustee Washkoviac,
Here.
Weidenburner. Trustee Weir.
Need a motion to accept the October minutes and finance committee report.
Second.
Trustee Finley,
Yes.
Trustee Mitchell,
Yes.
Trustee Sheets,
Yes.
Trustee Washkoviac,
Yes.
Trustee Weir,
Yes.
Trustee Weidenburner.
Richard?
We ran a total of 41 calls. And most of them, it looks like it was all mutual aid. I think we had a couple structure fires. I did put in a quote to put in backup cameras in all the engines. And I got a hold of Ron Equipment and they were asking $1,521. And that'll be backup camera plus audio. So if somebody's standing back there guiding them in, they can hear what they're saying.
That's per vehicle.
No, that's for all three of them.
Oh,
Yeah.
that ain't bad price.
It looks like it's 357 per vehicle and 150 installed.
Make the motion.
Trustee Finley,
720, is that good clarity?
Pardon me.
720 pixels.
For a backup camera, yeah.
That's what they installed in all the dump trucks and stuff down there. So
Well, yeah, well,
I don't know anything about it.
That's standard what you're gonna find in in your pickup truck.
I just want to make sure that it works up 80.
Oh,
Trustee,
And
go
then
ahead.
I put in another.
I got it.
Oh, okay.
I stopped the count.
Yeah.
Hold on, Richard, I stopped the count.
Trustee Mitchell,
Yes.
Trustee Sheets,
Yes.
Trustee Washkoviac,
yes.
Trustee Weir,
Yes.
Trustee Weidenburner.
Yes.
You gave him the other one.
Yes, I did. And he's got it. So.
Okay. Go ahead, Richard.
Also turned in another quote to buy some more pagers and walkies. Our numbers are starting to come up and some of our pagers are starting to get older. Starting to have some issues with them. So I reached out to Supreme Radio. Their quote was $9,000. And then Lori reached out to the one that they bought the company that bought the radios for the ambulances off of. And their quote was $7,440. So
And who can program it though? Supreme?
Supreme will still have to program it.
Who'd you talk to from Supreme? Just, you don't mind me asking.
Mike got it from Brad. So
Return the phone call?
Huh?
You returned a phone call?
Mike's working there now, so I just told him I needed a quote for 5 radios and 5 pagers, and he come the next time I see him with it. So,
Well, I mean, my opinion is,
I think Phil can probably take some notes too, is I understand they have to program them, but for the fact of them getting our business, that we should be top of their priority list. And to some of them we're not, so
Well, and
it's cheaper.
$2,000 cheaper.
And they have them stopped.
Yeah.
This one hasn't stopped.
And I mean, I think we need to go with the other company, but we need with the understanding that Supreme needs to get on the ball to get those things programmed when we get them here and not at their convenience.
Do we know if we're gonna get charged for the program?
But, well, is there anywhere else we can go besides Supreme?
We're the only ones that work for the county.
Supreme has the key, all radios, whether it be police department, ambulance, fire, the key in all the radios, the Supreme has some control over that. Even at the PSB, Supreme has some control over that. That's because of the contract basically that they went through with the I-9 Mutual Aid Association, that all the radios that we're using now are bought on grant.
So basically, it's like a monopoly. They get just whatever, because we can't go nowhere else.
Other people can program the radio, but you still have to have this key to unlock certain feature on it for it to be done.
To be able to talk
The
on
only
it.
one that has that key. And they don't give that key out.
Richard, did they give you
Next step is to have our lawyer resolve this issue, because we're talking emergency services. And we were tired of
we
it.
don't need a lawyer. We'll just call somebody's boss over in Peoria and let them know that their local reps here are standing between us and our emergency responders of getting things done in a timely fashion.
I bet if we put a lawsuit to them, I bet we get fewer attention.
Mr. Phil here had issues on a police chase, correct? And you couldn't get out? That
I know that one.
that's ridiculous. And for him to not, has he even given you answers on that radio yet?
Yeah, he finally gave me answers last week after a month of trying to.
Or where are we at with that one?
He did fix the errors that were made by their company in installation. Come to find out, and then we've been trying to get the new radios ordered through them, which we're finally in, but we're still waiting in a couple weeks on programming.
Don't these guys have a key?
No, because like what you said, it's through the INI Association. That's
Unless
what,
I get a hold of Peoria is the next step and see if somebody else from over there.
Well,
That's the
we
same.
need to do something, because this whole deal with these guys is ridiculous.
The fire department ambulance radios are being used, we never escape those. Those were bought with a grant that I-9 Mutual Aid Association got. So they, only because Supreme is the only radio programmer, radio dealership in this area, that's why everybody uses them.
Well, it's starting to explain why everybody in the county is having a problem.
well,
Agree with
is there anybody else in the county having the same problem, or is it just the village of Tilton? Because that's what I'd like to get to the.
Goes around, they don't even use it for that, they go straight to the order.
Okay, I just didn't know. I didn't know
Everybody
if,
has the problem with Supreme,
okay.
all departments.
Well, they have an office in Bloomington. If we have to, we could take them over there. And we could probably, or
So they
ship
can
them.
send somebody over here.
They can,
Over there.
I just think somebody in Peoria just needs to be aware of what's going on here locally, and they can solve that problem in-house and let them have that time.
If we have a whole abundance of them.
But we can solve that another time. I'll make the motion that we purchase the radios from Action Communications for $7,444.33.
Okay.
Trustee Finley.
Yes.
Trustee Mitchell.
Yes.
Trustee Sheets.
Yes.
Trustee Koviak.
Yes.
Weir.
Yes.
Weidenberger.
Thank you.
And they
No, that's all I got. I want to thank everybody that come out and helped out with the pancake sausage breakfast. I had some issues. I had to leave early, but I heard it turned out pretty good. So thank everybody for coming out and helping out.
Our condolences
Put that on.
with you and your family.
Thank you.
It looks like Butch got second.
We went with that company to buy the radio things that they have in stock. Took them to Brad 2 weeks ago and told him that, we need to get a program and maybe in the ambulance, do they know before we get going on the ambulance. Never did it last week. Called him yesterday and said, I have to have a date. I need a date for you to do this because you're the holdup on my ambulance. So going further and getting it in service. And 3 hours later, he called me back, so I'll do it tomorrow morning, which he did today. So they are installed. He did do it today. But because I was pretty stern and said, I need a date that you're gonna be here to do it. I will see if we can do it next week, but I need a date. So that did get done today. The radios are in the ambulance. I submitted a proposal from Dean's Graphics for $7,094 to have the ambulance wrapped. We can take 225 off of that because I was able to get the digital copies of the graphics from the company that wrapped our other ambulance. They sent me the digital copies. I sent those to Dean's. So he said that was excellent. It was great. They're trying to get a date scheduled to get it to Champaign to get it wrapped. They'll have a week, but that $225 for the artwork setup and design was for that digital that they were gonna have to recreate.
There's sales tax on here too. I don't know if you
Yeah,
noticed that.
I will take care of that.
Okay, I just want to make sure you've seen that.
But I don't have a date yet, but they're working on getting us in to get it wrapped.
So it'll be the same as, you know, one.
The same as what the last one was. Once it's wrapped and gets back, the last two things that need to be done, get it back to Carnegie. So we can get the load system out of the old unit and put it in the new unit. I have no word on that other track system to put back in the old unit yet from that company. They told us 6 to 8 week lead time once it was ordered. And that's only been about, what, 3 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks. Something like that.
So you need approval for the wrap.
Without the tax. And
I'll make the motion that we have Dean's Graphics do that. How much is it?
500 without the tax and the 225. tax.
Without the tax and the 225,
Yeah, it'd be 6,500.
$6,500.
I'll second.
Tax probably added on there, so computer program.
Yeah, they probably didn't. Often you gotta click tax exempt or anything.
Trustee Finley,
Yes.
trustee Mitchell,
Yes.
trustee Sheets,
Yes.
trustee Koviak,
Yes.
Spear,
Yes.
trustee Reidenberger.
All right, so we ran a total of 56 calls in the last 3 days. We had 30 in Tilton during the daytime, we dropped 9. We had 7 at nighttime, we dropped, we made 30, dropped 9 during the daytime. Made 7, dropped 10 at nighttime. We had 9 for Oakwood that we did, 3 for mutual aid requests other than Oakwood, 2 mutual aid provided for other than Oakwood, 1 mutual aid dropped for other than Oakwood, and then we were busy on 1 call when we had another call. Been working on the schedule. We got the 4 new EMTs through their orientation. They're now running on their own with another EMT. We're diligently trying to get both day and night time done. I pleasantly surprised over the last couple of weeks that we had as much coverage as we were able to do. That's all I have.
Thank you for doing what you can do.
It seems like the demand's going more and more. It seems like the demand for help is more and more
It is.
outside of Tilton.
It is. It's gonna get worse. The hospital is at full speed right now, even in the ER, which means that pretty soon or here could be tonight, tomorrow, whatever, that we'll be on bypass. Which means anytime we have a call, they're gonna bypass this hospital or have to go to Champaign. Because they don't have any ER beds available for anybody else to come to the ER.
They held my mom in ICU because they didn't have no beds.
Yeah. So, that means that, you know, City of Danville runs 3 times the call that we run in a day time. There's 5 ambulances in the City of Danville. All 5 of them are being diverted to Champaign. We're gonna be diverted. We're gonna be going into Danville or wherever else they cover also.
Sounds like Champagne's gonna be filled up quick. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So since Butch made his report, I'd like to hire him full-time as EMT, as ambulance coordinator. He's doing a great job, and I think he deserves to be full-time, and it's a full-time job.
I'll second
I'll third it.
it.
Okay, who had first?
Billy.
Who had second?
Mike.
Trustee Finley?
Yes.
Trustee Mitchell?
Yes.
Trustee Sheets?
Yes.
Trustee Koviak?
Yes.
Weir?
Yeah.
Trustee Weidenberger?
There you go. Thank you.
I'm aboard.
How we thought. Okay.
TJ? Yeah.
Yeah.
Routine trash pickup is down, routine clean maintenance on buildings, restrooms. Restrooms have been closed at the lake at Thomas Park went out for the winter. We went ahead and shut them down.
Ballpark too?
Yeah, ballpark's been shut down.
I was thinking about that.
We should be getting charged for them. They came out, cleaned them, locked them, and they're stored over at the ballpark. So if we get charged, let me know so we can address that.
Thank you.
All the Christmas lights have been put up on the buildings and fences. Got the piles of spreaders on some of the dump trucks. Got the displays all out into the shop now. Went through them, checked all the lights on them. They're ready to start going up when we start. Finished patching for the season. Ran and cleaned the sanitary line on the corner of Hodge and 14th. Fixed the broken catch basin at Henson and Glendale. Unclogged the storm sewer outlet pipe on Delwood. The forest scrubber arrived week, 2 ago, something like that. It's been used several times and it was definitely needed. Definitely needed. We had an issue with the dump truck. It's got electronic solenoids. One of them, or a couple of them went out actually, and we went through this years ago. You gotta go through Canada, which then Canada's gotta go through Germany to get the parts. Luckily, Ron Equipment found a dealer that had some in stock. He called me this afternoon, the solenoids came in already and the truck's back. The dump trucks.
Awesome.
We're back at full force on dump trucks and ready to go. Other than that, that's all I have.
Thank you. No. Just automatically, no.
We ran 311 calls for the month, 14 arrests, with 84 citations issued, 17 warnings, had 27 PNTs for that month, 1 ordinance violation warning, and issued 2 ordinance violations. Presenting a bid again for another camera. If we order the trying to add the new squad car, I'll need a camera for it. We're just now getting the cameras we ordered 6 months ago. So that's why I'm asking permission now to order it. But we're starting to move forward with installing the new in-car cameras inside the squads.
So is there any way you got a hold of Motorola, let them know your needs for that?
Yeah.
This is from the same bid from May. They didn't print the same thing.
You've been here, yeah, but you've been here longer than me.
I know it. And overall, it's for approximately $5,500. I didn't add it all up, but it's approximately $5,500 for each.
I'll make the motion for it.
Second.
Just come with, just have the mic system when
This
they're,
all incorporated into the system that we're going to.
so when the body cams come and.
Yes, it'll all work in together.
That's what I thought, but I just want to make sure. You need a second?
Mm-hmm.
I'll second.
Who did first?
I'm just spending money, you shouldn't have.
It's 5865.
5865.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trustee Finley.
Yes.
Trustee Mitchell.
Yes.
Trustee Sheets.
Yes.
Trustee Koviak.
Yes.
Weir.
Yes.
Trustee Weidenberger.
Yeah, like you got a hard name, man.
It's worse.
Treasurer's report.
We got our audit back and there are 2 packets. You have your folder from Tyler.
She said more than it was just good.
Yes, it was great.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I just wanted her to use some of the fancy terms that she used in the meeting.
What the other, we had a great report. Did you want to bring up about the leasing thing too? Until we get to that position.
Yeah, I think because we didn't even know what year the lease was up, because he couldn't find it.
Yeah.
I mean, she'll find it, but the Crowder couldn't find it.
I don't see a big problem with it.
And but we might be exempt from it, maybe. You don't know yet.
Of course, we can be, if we want to take cash.
Yeah.
Well.
We're on cash
we're on
basis anyway.
basis.
Well, of course, but she's gonna check.
Right. But if we're not exempt from it, then we're gonna have to purchase them outright.
Yeah.
Anything else? That it?
Yeah.
That was too easy.
We'll make it harder next time.
City administrator.
Okay, so, the budget that I presented last month, to be voted on this month, needs to be tabled. I'm gonna have a new one ready by December 8th, our next meeting. Well, I guess we haven't discussed that, by our next meeting. Because I need to make a few adjustments.
That will be amendment for
Yeah.
December 8th.
Well.
And put on
whenever we have-
display.
No, we have to put it on display first.
Yeah, we have-
After
After-
January, right?
after the next meeting, we have to put it on display out there
Right.
like that one is, so we take that one down.
So
put the
30
new one on.
days, so you'll be approving it in January
January.
then, correct?
But there was some, changes that happened,
Yes,
so we need to account for those.
yep.
Also, I'd
I
like
need
to
a-
take, oh, I'm sorry.
I need that
I'll
motion,
make the motion that we table.
not yet.
Oh, sorry.
Second.
Trustee Finley,
Yes.
trustee Mitchell, trustee Sheets,
Yes.
trustee Wishkoviac,
Yes.
Beer,
Yes.
trustee Weidenberger.
Also, I'd like to take, it's a city managers association class. It's for managers and administrators. We joined the ICMA, it's 2063-08, and that's 75 hours of class. If we don't join, it's $2,995 for me to take the class. So I would like to join and take the class.
Yeah.
What are we joining?
The ICMA, it's the International City Managers Association.
And what's the benefits of us joining? You get more resources that way?
Yeah,
Regulations, that kind of.
Regulations.
More
75 hours.
support. questions.
yeah,
Yes,
like they have a forum where you can talk to other people
Gotcha.
and.
Okay.
I'll make a motion, we can do it for
How much?
We're gonna join, have her join there.
yes, join.
her, just for this, like she's got on this paper here.
How much?
2063-08.
Hey, I look at it this way, we kind of push the police department, fire department, get as much training as possible. I mean, we ought to let office staff get as much training as they want. It also.
Clerk needs, and Brian's gonna have to go to FOIA class anyway, so to learn how to do FOIAs.
Trustee Finley,
Yes.
trustee Mitchell,
Yes.
trustee Sheets,
Yes.
trustee Wishkoviac, trustee Weir,
Yeah.
trustee Weidenberger.
Yes.
Yes.
was gonna say,
I've got one more thing going back to, Phil and T, I talked to Phil and TJ this morning. TJ brought it to my attention that the county has a bunch of ARPA money. And then Phil said he read it too, so I made a call to the county. And all we need to do is write them a letter saying what we are wanting and how much. So I'm having Phil get a quote for body cameras. And they just approved paying for the sheriff's departments. So with us having so.
In
many
full?
fewer-
They paid in full?
They're gonna pay in full. So I'm also gonna write up some other things, maybe even get our cards and get them request, see if we can get the money. I talked to Bruce, my understanding is there's approximately $8 million available still. It has to be spent between now and 2024. So I'm gonna make some requests. I'm not gonna get crazy.
Good,
but
good.
make some solid requests and see what we. come
Well,
up
they didn't get crazy, so they tell you no.
with.
Good deal.
The only thing with ARPA is you can only use it for certain things, and I'm gonna see about the bridge too. G Street.
That'd be good.
Yeah, because
Maybe
we
they go-
gotta have
I
bridge
mean, you guys
bearings
don't
in
have a problem with us sending a quote and
Nope,
writing a letter, do you?
nope.
Do we need a motion?
I'll make a motion, just if you want to cover it.
I'll second it if you need it.
I'll make a motion that we apply for any ARPA that we possibly can.
Okay.
Second.
Hold on. Trustee
You ain't
Finley,
get it if you don't ask.
Mitchell,
Yes.
trustee Sheets,
Yes.
trustee Sylvia,
Yes.
trustee Weir,
Yeah,
trustee Weidenberger.
yeah, like I said, doing it this way, we cover it, so, you know.
Okay, I have one more thing. We've been working with the S&P Global for about the last 2 months. They have to reevaluate our credit rating every 3 years, and due to our good audits and our spending habits, they have changed our outlook from negative to stable. And they confirmed our A- rating, so that's good. That's it.
Okay,
Go back to bonuses.
and we ain't there yet. I don't
You
think.
gonna go to that?
Nah, I don't know.
I had it on the back of the city administrator's report.
Yeah, it's here.
It's right here.
But, I mean, each amount is small.
Oh, there ain't no amount. It just says, oh, yes, I didn't even look at it.
Yeah, I mean.
You already told me what
You
it
okay with the
was.
bonuses where we set them up?
We talked about that before you did it.
Everybody okay with it? We need a motion to pay Christmas bonuses.
I'll make a motion.
Trustee Finley,
Yes.
trustee Mitchell,
Yes.
trustee Sheets.
Yes.
Trustee Washkoviac,
Yeah.
trustee Weir,
Either my ears are messing up or you got a stutter going.
I got a stutter going on. Trustee Weidenberger. Nice make fun of the disabled.
But those will be paid after the next board meeting. Once they're confirmed.
Okay.
That's it. I'm done.
Brian,
All right, so Wagner Law can keep it in our fob systems to all the buildings, and so far we haven't had any issues. After we did that, we just asked them to give us some quotes to maybe do some more doors around the village offices and things. That way, we already got to have a fob to get in the building, so that way we don't have to have keys to get into each office or whatever. So attached is Wagner quoted to do 12 doors here, so all the offices. That's including downstairs with the evidence room and things. So they can keep track of who's coming and going, not just down there, but like in all the offices. We also did public works to have 2 offices. So they can lock up those offices. One at the fire station, because those offices are tied together, so not both doors need to be done. And then the community center for the back door to be done, so it can be on the fob system as well. And then the very last one is, we have a couple of door closers, one at the fire station, one at the community center that basically are broken and they slam shut. And he quoted also to replace the door closing mechanisms on those. So that way we don't get anybody hurt with that door slamming, knocking somebody over, catching a finger in the door or something.
that's the front door.
The back, yeah, the shocks for the back door, yeah. And then one at the fire station, when it closes, it slams shut, bounces open and slams shut again.
25 grand for all that.
And we don't have to do it all now. We can, if we don't want to do any of it, we don't have to. It's, we figured since the fob system's already working, we're,
How long, how
Oh,
long?
I think he's rolling out of it.
Interior door.
I didn't ask him honestly. I'm not sure. I didn't think to ask how long it's
Look, what I
supposed to
think
take.
was, what I think was, we could ask him how long his proposal is before we can do it stages.
Yeah,
Evidence.
evidence.
Or if we do it in stages, we can always ask them for a re-proposal on one.
You gotta be careful on every proposal in this economic time, because it can move up from 18 grand to 22 grand.
Yeah, yeah.
Just find out if you can. For people, if, how long these proposals be locked in for.
22 something.
Yeah, ARPA be used for. Even in, I mean, I'm saying, though, even for, security for the evidence locker, evidence room and all that kind of stuff.
I'll have to check.
We might be able to go that way with that too. but-
Me and TJ both went through it today, and there's a lot of things on there that they don't show that are covered. I don't think you really know until you apply for it, and because it says like,
And then it's at the county's discretion.
Right.
whether They're gonna release the funds to you or not on what you propose to do with it.
You bring up that for downstairs, that would take.
Yeah,
That, we get that, that would take off some of this.
I will add that to the wish list.
But the two door closers need to be fixed, for sure.
No, no, like I said, overall, we need to, just like we try to find a way to break it down a little bit.
What if we do the station? Station one and community center,
Well, I'll tell you what,
that would be,
we could probably do, why don't we just hold off on the big expense, seems to be city hall.
Yeah.
do everything.
Because we're gonna do like this door and that door, like, that way, you know, that way you don't have to remember your code when you go through this door, because some people have problems forgetting that code to the door, and
Why just go do that?
sometimes we lock it.
I'm a big fella, right?
A big fella.
I'll make a motion, we hold off on
City Hall.
everything for city hall, and we take care of the other.
The individual one. The individual charges for.
Yeah, the one for
City Hall is the one that
This
uses
is,
the most.
this is also.
public
One of the
works,
ones that use our keys the most.
fire station one.
Yeah, here.
you know, it's in our back door.
I don't understand what,
the fire
To me,
station.
it's backwards.
all these interior doors, what, you want electronic thing for it?
Even if
Bob,
we do
what's
one here.
Oh, community center.
Brian, what, are all 12 doors considered essential doors?
Yeah, they're our offices.
Yeah, they're all offices. 12 of them. I mean, they're offices, so, I mean, we can control who comes and goes easier and see who comes and goes easier through the doors. I'm saying, I didn't know if there was a way we could cut some of that number down at City Hall to get some City Hall
We
secure.
probably could do part of the doors.
Even if we did the upstairs part of City Hall first,
Mhm.
and,
Well, that's like Phil check and see if you get that.
well, then that would hold off the downstairs for Phil to check to see if that's covered, any of that's covered.
And we can always ask him, I can probably have it by next meeting if we want to do that, if we want to split upstairs and downstairs. Because I think right now the panel downstairs is at max capacity, I believe, because he has to add some panels, because each one of them panels only controls 4 doors at a time. So I think we might have 1 door left on that panel we have downstairs. So the rest of the doors, you have to add a panel for every 4 doors, I believe, 4 or 6 doors, I can't remember exactly.
So what's this do? Override using the key to open an office door?
Yeah, so you can, that way we don't have to have keys anymore.
Yeah, our fobs that we use now.
So when we come into work, we can use our fob to get in the door and the fob to get in our office.
But like his, TJ's Bob won't be able to get her off.
Right.
Right,
That's the limit.
no program.
Do you have a key to my office?
Heck, no, I don't have,
You have a key to the office.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother, it doesn't affect.
no, I don't have a key.
Hey, you know who goes in and out of these offices?
I just think we just need to do it all. If we're gonna do one, to me, City Hall is the most used building out of all the village buildings. Minus the station. Station can be included in that, but, and then obviously Public Works, but I mean, the community center. And they're all used on a daily basis for the most part. I just think we just need to bite the bullet and spend the money.
Well, thing is, I don't want to bite the bullet, if you get money for stuff downstairs, and we can find out how far we can go with it.
Right, but even if, I don't think that that they're gonna pay for the entire building. So I'm sure that this grant will probably reimburse us for expenses that I don't see the point of waiting to secure the evidence room now with an electronic lock that's logged when waiting on a grant. Where I'm sure we can spend that money somewhere else, or they can reimburse us for that. But I think that in order there's a lot of evidence probably in that room, and having an electronic log to know who goes and accesses that room is probably a smart idea.
I was trying to do it.
Well, thing is, though, then what someone needs to go through here and take another look at this, I cannot believe every door needs to have a electronic lock on.
Me neither. Is a key.
everything else is going to key fob, why not just do it? And we need to key fob.
Thing is we're not guaranteed who has keys to what offices.
Well, and that's the
Pardon
thing is, can anybody,
We have city court, and that, we need to secure everything back.
can
What
anybody,
if one of you ain't here and you got your fob, then how's the next guy gonna get in there?
can anybody provide me a
They
key
need to
audit
get
of who
in.
has what keys and were issued to who?
No.
All right, problem solved.
Just like
I make the motion that we approve Wagner Lock and Key for all buildings that were quoted. Due to the fact that nobody can provide me with an audit of who has what keys to what parts of these buildings that we have in the village. It's a security risk.
Don't look at me, Bert, I ain't got no keys.
I ain't either.
But we don't know if past administrations have keys to,
Oh, they've had new locks put on them since then.
But again, to my point, nobody can provide me with a list on who issued keys and who brought them back in after the end of employment. For this fob system, we know who has the fob and what they have access to. When their employment is no longer here, we shut their fob off.
We do one building at a time, like per month, something, so we're like half now, half, so we're not spending so much right at once.
Okay, then I make I revise my motion for $18,840 for City Hall. And plus the $394 or $393 for the closers at Station 1 and Community Center.
Need a second.
so we're doing it, what'd you say now we're doing?
City Hall first and the closers. We'll see how that works and then we'll move on to the other building.
Trustee Finley,
Yes.
trustee Mitchell,
Yes.
trustee Sheets,
No.
trustee Wishkoviac,
Yes.
trustee Weir,
No.
trustee Weidenberger.
No. Yes,
Deadlock.
yes.
Motion passed.
Seems like Joey Thomas is back.
He used to count them, didn't he?
But that's you guys' prerogative. That's what the board's for.
Well, I was looking at, we need to spread it out a little bit, make sure we're actually taking.
He might let us do that anyway. Yep, I agree.
Here's my thing is we approved 18,000 doesn't mean we have to spend the 18,000. I can go through and audit these doors again and figure out which doors are necessity. We cut that quote in half, but we have $18,000 approved.
I agree.
That's where I was going with it.
I don't think we need, yeah, I agree 100%.
All right, the next thing is our contract with CTS was actually up months ago, like 2 or 3 months ago, right before I got hired. So they gave us a new contract, updated contract of adding the Station 1, and it's got everything we already have. It also adds Station 1 and the Public Works Building with a firewall so that our fob systems can communicate better than they do now over our networks. The firewall basically makes everything talk to City Hall. And their updated monthly cost is $3,700, 34.60 per month. I'm not sure what our current one is. I did not look that up of what we pay right now for our IT services for them.
What is it?
Counts.
Well, you need to put it out for bids, it's too much.
Gotta be, it's over
If it's over
25,000.
30, yeah,
$44,808.
we have to put it out for bids.
Yeah.
If it's over 30,000, you have to.
But I didn't hear anything you
If
guys
it's
said.
over 30,000, you have to put it out for bids.
Okay. For the year?
Yeah.
Okay. I was not aware of any of that, so, okay.
So they need to sharpen their pencil and we need to get a competitor.
Well, I think we just have to
Might
advertise on the
know somebody.
website.
Okay.
Yes.
Trustee Finley,
Yes.
trustee Mitchell,
Yes.
trustee Sheets.
Yes.
Trustee Wishkoviac,
No.
trustee Weir,
Yes.
trustee Weidenberger.
No. Committee reports.
I got a couple, just updates, going along with Richard on the pancake breakfast. We had roughly 25 volunteers, as well as about 20 or so. I didn't really pick a count of firefighters. There that day went very well, I thought, for a little bit of cold weather in the morning. $1,063 came in for the pancake side, $600 for the food pantry. So much appreciated. I thought the fire department got the place looking very well. It looked really good. Several comments on that, so good job with that. Christmas parade, December 3rd. I know Ryan could probably elaborate a little bit on that if you'd like to, but there's 20 entries in those.
Participants?
Yeah.
We got about 14 right now. Actually, I just got some emails, so it's probably around 19. Yeah.
So roughly there, we're gonna be giving away coffee, hot chocolate and cookies at the fire station that night. And WITY is gonna set up next to it and announce all the entries. So several people from Danville are coming to this one. So,
Good deal.
Good.
You've already gotten responses from people.
Yeah, about 19 people. And most of those are local businesses. There's a few individuals, but, and from looking, City of Danville, you can look at who's registered so far, and it's pretty much mirroring.
They're,
We got like Lion Skate.
they're night lights.
Shriners,
parade or
Crazy
something.
Hearts want to do it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Austin Trucking signed up, and a couple of other local people did too, so pretty cool.
It'll be a real parade of lights.
yeah, if you want to participate, it's on the website. You can register on there.
Yeah.
I want to make it to Candy. Donovan is getting some of the cadets and some of the church members together and baking cookies for that night. So that's much appreciated as well.
To give out free. So. Donation, of course.
And I taste tested some of the vanilla cookies.
Anybody in the audience have anything? Okay. We need approval for pay estimate $449,509.01. So for Curry Construction,
13, and then you got 12.
do I
Then
I'll
you got
make a
12.
motion, we pay them. I guess they're working pretty good.
pay estimate 13, right?
Yeah.
Pay estimate 12 is $235,802.25. We don't have to pay that out until we get reimbursed from the EPA, and then we pay them.
Okay.
I think we already got reimbursed for 12.
Okay,
We just have to.
do
wait for
13.
13.
Okay.
Trustee-
Yes, they're kicking butt right now.
Yeah.
I make the motion, we pay estimate 12 and 13 once we get reimbursed from the
All right.
Illinois EPA.
You got a second?
Yeah, that's fine.
Trustee Finley,
Yes.
trustee Mitchell,
Yes.
trustee Sheets,
Yes.
trustee Sokoviak,
Yes.
trustee Weidenberg.
The tip application was, Keith hasn't responded, but the biggest thing is we put so much money in that building that he's trying to buy, and there's no ownership, so the application is default until they buy the building. So
Oh.
we'll make a recommendation at that point.
Sounds good.
Ordinance number 22. 1020, amending chapter 226 of the village code pertaining to rental properties.
I talked to the finance company and I want to bring up a few points about that ordinance. Doesn't address trailers. It's not going to bring in a great amount to the village. What if you have family living there? What if you're selling it on contract, and what if it's vacant? These are the same problems we had last time. I think my opinion is, I think people should have to register. But if they don't register, we can fine them. You know what I mean? That's what they do in Calvin.
I think that's a good idea.
And that's okay. My question, and Ryan might be able to answer this, is how the process of, how am I gonna know if a property didn't register? And I know we know just by being around town that that's a rental, that's a rental. But in the same token, if we're relying on maybe property deed names, where you could have deeded me your property because I'm the sole beneficiary of your estate anyway, so you're just gonna give me that way when something happens to you, you don't have to worry about it. But I'm not technically your landlord and you're not paying me rent. I'm just the owner of the house that you're occupying. So how are we gonna differentiate stuff
Well,
like that?
so I went through, when I first did this, I went through every street, every residence, and I went on the Roane County GIS map. I seen which one had, it was an owner occupied, and which one showed that the owner was living elsewhere. So if the owner lived elsewhere, I would name that as a non-owner occupied. So I sent all those notices out. I want to think I sent out probably 400 or 500 notices. That was non-owner occupied. Now, the issue is we have, if you're my son, I could say that you are living there rent free. How are we gonna know that? Anybody can go and say, oh,
That was my next point is I can sit here and lie because we're family and say, you don't pay me, but you really do. So I
really don't have anything to do with it. It's still Registration Act.
Yeah.
So it don't make any difference if you're paying anything. If it's not owner occupied, it's still registration.
Right. Now, the issue with the fee, I know it's not gonna bring in a lot of money, but we got postage, we have, the time that it takes for me to do this, the envelopes. If something happens, and I mentioned in the email, if that property is a rental property, like what was it, 314 Redwood? If it's a rental property, and we end up tearing down, that's gonna cost us money. I know it's not so much money that we're bringing in for the rental registration, but at least that'll help us recoup some of that money we spend on tearing down a house or doing any kind of reconstruction on the house to make it happen. So, I mean, that's the only issue I have there with that.
Do you think you're really gonna get fees from the guy that's not taking care of his property?
They would be more apt to, I mean, with that, that's a separate ordinance deal. I mean, we're gonna, hopefully with the village court, they're going to go after them.
I guess my point is there's no, I just use my own personal stuff, is that there's no incentive to keep even my own personal house up, because if you look right behind me, I got a junkyard.
Yeah.
And it's just, why? I mean, my taxes keep going up, everything, I do everything I can to make it look nice, and you get penalized because you make it look nice. And I'm not necessarily talking about this, it's just everything in general.
Right. And I know the mayor brought up, that, why don't we do it like on an assessed value type thing? I think we came up with that type of a level with the registration fee. So, I mean, it's whatever you guys want. I don't, I'm just trying to.
No, I want your opinion. I value your opinion.
Because honestly, yeah, we got issues with property, garbage, weeds, vehicles. We have that. We don't write too many citations on those because most time people take care of it. So are we getting money from that? No, not necessarily. This right here, they said fee that, rental. It'll also help with home values, I think, because, you're paying this fee. They're gonna put people in there that's a lot better tenants, and that can pay the rental. So, I mean, like I said, it's up to you guys. Ways to recoup money.
No, I'm with you.
I mean, I respect that you're trying to recoup the money for the village. About what is going to be and it might say in here, so forgive me, but what is the fine if they don't register?
$1 million.
That's fine. Then we don't have to charge anybody.
I know it's up to $750. I think it'll be
200.
Yeah.
So is it worth trying to?
Unless he's changed again the wording of it, recently, whatever.
So how current up to date are you so far with rentals?
I haven't been up to date.
2 years, probably.
4 years now, probably. So I mean, I'm sure it's changed. I mean, I might have to go through every street again, go through every house.
I can help you with that.
I feel that the owner occupied portion of it is, I don't think somebody should be punished for living in a house that isn't, and I don't want to say punished, but they should be responsible for that fee if they're living in a house that they're not renting. It's their house. They just went ahead and deeded it into a trust to somebody else. That way it's done before they pass.
Usually when you deed something that has to do with family.
Yep.
Normally, so if it's family, we'll let the family take care of paying the fines and the fees and everything else.
Well, but I just don't, I get that, but I don't see where an older person that did that, where they should be responsible for paying that $100 a year fee for a house that they've lived in their whole life. So they just went, took ahead and put it in their daughter's name or their son's name, so they don't have to worry about it.
They wouldn't be paying if the son or daughter.
Yeah, but it's.
But what I'm getting at is they shouldn't even be required to pay that fee. They're not, it's not in a, that's their house. They take care of it. They say it does. It's just in somebody else's name.
Whoever the owner is on the deed, be the one paying.
And that's
If they
not,
already turned it over to their kid will be the one paying.
okay, well,
I misunderstand what you're saying.
yes, I'm just gonna put this, my own grandmother has her house not deeded in her name. It's in her kids' name.
Her kids will pay this.
So it is technically not owner occupied, but she does not, she pays her own bills, she pays her own taxes, that's all hers. So why should she have to pay a renter's fee or their kids pay a renter's fee and it's not being rented? She pays her bills. It's all out of her account, nobody else's. So there's multiple people in town that I'm sure are like that.
So can we?
So my question is how can we solve that issue? I understand the owner occupied. I get that if dad owns it and the son is probably paying rent or some sort of, you can't tell me they're not, but I'm saying in that case, it's different from this one.
But the city damage fee is $15 for registration.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm not arguing the fee. I'm just trying to figure out how we're going to differentiate on basis.
I mean, you can find them excessive more than the $15 if they don't register.
You're saying, in other words, we need to come up with a way to do it to exclude reverse mortgages. Because basically that's what that is, like a reverse mortgage. Someone else owns the house and she's living in it.
Is there a way you can just look at it and say, these rental companies that are doing it, they're the ones that you deal with?
Well, and I think I like in here, yeah, and that's fine. And I think hers is in the trust of her name, which you could probably differentiate that way, but I don't know if that's how they do it per se for everybody. She just put hers in a trust, but.
I doubt the state of Illinois is gonna worry about it when she passes away, they go after the inheritance tax on that property.
Well, I'm sure, but.
You know,
There was a house.
Like when Ryan, why don't we put it this way, or ask the lawyer anyway? If you live in the corporate limits, you're exempt for that rental fee. If you don't live in the corporate limit, you gotta pay that rental fee, because that's the biggest problem
It's
is.
the people that don't live in the town. You're okay with that?
Oh, I'm good.
That'd be borderline discriminating against.
No, I think they all have to register, even if you live in town. But, or if you're outside of city limits, your fee is more than what if you live in city.
I guess we don't go and.
Going back to basically, you have to have somebody local as a property manager.
That's right.
That or you have to be able to
You
contact
live in
someone.
California, but you better have somebody here that we can get to say.
Yeah, because you're not driving by to see if your tenants are keeping your property up to date.
Because we got some.
Yes.
Take care of it.
So we probably need to run that by the lawyer just to make sure. But
Raise the fee outside of town, just like the ambulance service. You raise the fee outside town and lower in the inside town.
I'll throw another way. Carl Reeves is doing a house 2 doors down for me, and I know he's gonna do it to flip it. Because he's putting too much money into it. Are you
What's up,
ready?
Linda?
So like,
maybe give
for
them a
example, the house I live in is owned by a foreign LLC to Illinois. So technically that LLC is not, it's foreign in Illinois because it's registered in Indiana. Even though I am a member holder of shares, it's not my name. So is that gonna push me into having to register that house as a rental since the LLC is foreign to the state of Illinois?
Are you the one beneficiary on that?
Would be if,
No.
like what Dave just said, if they don't live
In
in.
other words, the corporation owns their house.
Yeah, the LLC that my son and I both own owns the house. It's not me personally, but I live there. and I am a shareholder,
Well, if you're part of the corporation, I would say no, it doesn't affect you that way. because
even though
you're
it's a
part
foreign
of the corporation.
LLC,
Well, it's not
Illinois.
multiple, like, I mean, just you son, right?
Correct,
So, yeah,
but
yeah.
the
She's living in a corporate house that she's part half owner of the corporation.
Yeah.
So I
But
don't
that,
see
my point was, is that LLC is foreign in Illinois because it's registered in Indiana.
But the owner is your corporation,
Yes,
and
yes.
you're living it. That'd be like Daniel's got plenty of them where these companies buy houses to set their executives up in while they're here. So they're probably the same basis. It's not a rental property, it's corporate owned.
It would come up as a real estate with them. So,
Yeah, it will. It'll come
It's not gonna
from
be-
the LLC name.
We need to have a committee and have.
My brother and I own my mom's house there on Crestwood.
You're gonna get charged. No.
Well, it ain't there.
But
Probably 15 years before she passed away. But she went to a lawyer and deeded. It was deeded in our name. But she paid the taxes of everything.
Well, I'm sure if they come up to us, tell us that.
Now you could show in that instance, I mean, I could have showed you the deed. I had a copy of it. Where it was in our name.
I don't want it to become something that's time consuming where you're chasing.
Chasing down trails like this.
Yeah, like this, where you think it is, and then here we are, we just spent 3 weeks on the
I'm
wall.
probably gonna go through every house anyways, just double check what I have before.
I'd say we table it and send it to the lawyer. Then it needs to be traffic court included.
And then
Get some
we're gonna talk
suggestions
about the
from them
different
anyway.
fees or.
The traffic courts are bad shape too, and they need to be cleaned
I'll
up.
make a motion. We just let the lawyer give us at least some suggestions.
And then what should we do, in the ordinance, should it list if they failure to
Yeah.
register what the fee would be? So, and what,
And that should be not
Stair stuff.
no $200 or $500. It should be $1,000.
it's simple to register your property, you just
What
failed to
about
do so.
also like public nuisance property, rental property?
let me ask you a question. You talk about registration, how somebody that buys a house here in town is gonna know they need to register.
They'll be sent. They'll be sent a notice.
If I buy a house, after all this is done, if I buy a house in Tilton, I want to use it for rental property, how do I know I need to register? Don't tell me the website, 'cause I may not get it on the website.
I think.
A lot of times.
Buy property, better.
And I'll go.
We've had calls before, Bill, like Aaron Trolley has bought houses and called and told
Well,
us.
I'm just sitting there saying,
Called and told us, hey, I'm buying 2 houses for rentals and what I need to do.
Well, and
do we
the,
have to come up with something in cooperation with the county?
I was gonna say, can
We
the
get a
county-
notice, we actually do get a notice now from the
Yes.
Vermillion County Reporter
Yeah.
that lists every house though,
So
we can
then,
watch it.
well, I can look them up on my.
So what I'm getting at is, if we get a list, and what does he need to check in there?
Right, you know,
well, he's checking them now to make sure for the existing ones that
Yeah.
are
registered now.
renters, are rental houses.
But some of them could have been sold, you
Well,
know.
no, what I'm saying is, if it comes to the assessor, right, assessor
That's
has all the
sold.
information on it.
These are not sold though. These
Maybe
are
we
already
get with
here.
like the tax.
Because even if
like,
somebody,
They might be able-
Like owner occupied.
Well, that GIS, they might be able to give you a list that says the owner occupied. And you save you from going and click on every house. I'm sure they probably can. So maybe Tiffany.
they've been a lot of time driving around doing this stuff, we get information from the assessor.
Pretty much drive around and tell you who's renting
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
like,
that,
by their yards.
but what about people who own
Yeah, it's no kidding.
houses who just use them
You
for
tell.
storage? Like, okay, so like, I'm just gonna use my dad for example, he just passed away. My brother lived in his house for free. You know, so how are you gonna? Cause he didn't have any rental income, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How do you prove that?
It's a Curtis register.
The key to this whole thing is to lawyer to draw up something that's around what we're having the problem with.
For the time being, I would go off the assessor's information as being the most current. Get a lawyer to draw something up, 'cause I'm gonna tell you right now, everybody sitting here knows that if you have elderly parents, you want them to turn their property over to you within 5 or 10 years before they may have to go to a nursing home, or the nursing home will steal your property.
And then just let it sit there.
Yeah, and we have to tear them down.
So we know this is gonna be an issue, especially in Tilton, because we are an older community. A lot of these properties have probably already been turned over to protect them for their kids. So I would start with the assessors first and go from there. Once everything starts happening, people will know.
Yes.
You'll have people calling up here going, hey, this guy next door to me rents the heat tank.
Yep.
But then we cut through some of the stuff, like I said, Lee, but I know of 2 wells down, he's not putting that money in there to rent that house out, he's split.
As far as I'm concerned, for 3-4 years now.
I'm great.
Well, they do it on side, but here recently, they've been in there slamming, he's had a painter, a professional painter come in.
Well, and I think if they're gonna flip it, I think that's where we work with them and give them a period that, hey, I'm not planning on renting this. I'm just buying it, I'm fixing it up and then I'm selling. So,
Yeah, we got a damn big house.
but I think something we can work on then necessarily, if they're gonna have it for 6 months in their possession to fix it up and then they're gonna sell it, then necessarily don't need to pay a fee to make the house, the value better by making it.
I do think this ordinance is a necessity, especially with how many rental properties we have. Not
We have a lot of
necessarily
slumlords,
people that
right?
live in here, like, you live here, but you have rental properties, but it's the big companies that just come in at tax sales,
Well,
buy them up. I'm just trying to help our property values.
the other thing I would suggest is when Dave Wesner's here, talk to Dave Wesner and find out how the city did it to track down all the rentals they have up there, people coming in and out, moving people out of town, out of state, out of country. They had to have a way to do it, and all the others through the assessor's office.
We could probably go to the clerk's office and they'd give us a list, or the treasurer's. I mean, you can look it up manually, but it just, takes
But
time.
then, while we wait for the attorney, see what they say, but maybe you guys can work on it. Thank you.
We got a motion to table?
But that would also.
What I made
probably the houses in a trust.
Go to the lawyer.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I know hers is listed as a trust, but I don't know if everybody's.
So I'm just saying.
I second.
Probably the assessor's office and work out from there.
I agree.
Well, I understand, but
If it's the same name, yeah.
instead
I don't
of,
think we have that many trusts.
instead of him driving around and getting on a computer, let's just start with the assessor's report first. And then we can build from that.
Right. Trustee
Maybe
Finley,
we'll find other avenues to take.
Tabling.
table and to send it to the attorney. Trustee Mitchell,
Yes.
trustee Sheets,
Yes.
trustee Kubiak,
Yes.
Yes,
trustee Weidenberg.
Before we send it to the attorney, I recommend everybody write the recommendation down and then send it to the attorney. But that way we got everybody's opinion on that.
Four heads in one.
Yes.
Can do that. Well, we need to have probably, within the next week.
Yeah, well, I think, Lori said the right idea. I think you need to have a committee on rental registrations and hash it out through the committee and bring it back to the full board.
There you go, you're on the committee. Welcome.
I think police committee would be the one to recommend it. I think we ought to have a committee meeting because it's an ordinance, and the police committee should meet and hash it out and then bring it back to the board.
yeah.
I mean, that's
I hate to call it blue ribbon, but maybe we ought to have someone outside the board.
And well, Ryan's sitting on it because he's a policeman's gonna be looking for him.
You're welcome. Usually it's my name that gets put on those lists, so I pointed fingers before my fingers got this one.
Wanna sit on it?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, there's two. So you can have a committee for that, so.
One, Mike, he's
I got too many boards.
Virgil.
Mike can't.
I don't have no rental
Next call,
property.
please. All right, next one.
I'm just thinking it'd be easier to hash it out and then bring it back to the board. Send it to the lawyer. You guys can talk to the lawyer and personally and say, this is what we recommend.
I just think there's a lot of things in there.
Yeah.
I didn't put it on the drive.
Ordinance 22-1020A, creating a chapter 294 of the village code pertaining to parking certain vehicles.
Has anything changed? We tabled it. Why did we table it last week?
Because it wasn't back yet.
So we tabled all ordinances so you can read it.
We didn't have this
last
one.
time.
We did.
We did?
That's why we tabled, so we could read it.
Oh,
No.
Don't yell at me. This one, residential property.
Table it again so you can read it.
No. I read it in there. I'm just trying to make sure I didn't have any
So we're
comments.
taking care of basically all the stuff that's sitting around with no licenses and
Right.
scrap and
That's right. Flatbed trailers.
trailers and garages and stuff like that that need to be out.
Yes. Make a motion.
And what we're doing, finding them?
Yes.
And what happens if they don't pay the fine?
I'll double check with him, but I think like regular vehicles, we may be able to remove from the top.
I do know the local tow company will tow vehicles, but any homemade trailers, stuff like that, they will not.
They will not? No, then we'll.
Because they're not titled and you can't get rid of them.
Got public works and destroying.
Or campers.
Sounds
what
like.
about campers?
But Public Works can take them over there and smash them into a dumpster. That's what it works for. I did not, but I can make it. Or I can second.
Trustee Finley,
Yes.
trustee Mitchell, trustee Sheets.
Yeah.
Trustee Kubiak.
Yes.
Trustee Weir,
Yeah.
trustee Weidenberg.
Happy hunting.
They can't park anything on grass at all, Phil.
Hope this says on improved surface.
That takes in a lot of it.
Oh, if we approve grass,
Huh?
what if we approve grass?
So is that like a vote on grass?
Do what?
According to the way the ordinance is, it's on an
That's the
improved
term.
surface. Be it gravel, asphalt,
So
or concrete.
gravel patch here, one tire for gravel patch here?
I said pavers.
Because I know my dad, he don't have much room in his yard. He parks his trailer on the side of his boat as well.
Put a couple bricks on it, right?
There you go. All right.
Improved pavement.
But again, I think as long as the slides are taken care of, it's not gonna be an
That's
issue.
right.
The issue is
Yeah.
the ones that are
License.
falling down into the,
They're not gonna be,
into the dirt, actual stuff on the dirt.
That and grass is higher than the boat.
Yeah. You got tarps over.
all right, man, what's next?
Bid opening for sidewalks at Thomas Park. We have 2 bids. Midwest
Calm
Asphalt.
down, Dave. He's getting excited.
Say what?
I told Doug to calm down. He's getting excited. Bid opening.
How could you tell?
Huh?
How could you tell?
I don't know. He smiled. You quit banging that main pin.
That bother you?
Yes.
Yeah, because it's being picked up
It
here.
bothers Brian because he can, when he listens to the meeting afterwards, all he can hear is the ding.
Yeah, I know they sit down here all week, they cook, yes, we're about.
We'll move the microwave.
Yeah, we moved the microwave from you. It's in front of me now.
Oh, that trade.
I don't know how to determine if it's.
You thought they were back.
I'm saying.
They administered, she had to hit the button so many times, so I would be.
Do, 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 do. We need some Brian, we need some Jeopardy music.
Usually when it takes it.
Oh, where's the cue?
I'd rather listen to this pen than what you saying.
Well, I'd rather you put your hearing aids in so I don't have to repeat myself. And I wish you'd lower your chair so I can see the man.
Oh, shut up.
All right,
5-foot side,
He wants to be as tall as everybody else.
about 2 inches sub base.
Supposed to respect your elders, bud.
Did we pass that ordinance?
I respect.
Right.
That shows your own.
cross construction. $55,387.50. And Midwest Asphalt is $43,750. Anybody want to look at these?
They just like, well, you give them what you wanted, didn't you?
I'm sure it's the same distance, but 695 feet.
Concrete removal. 695 feet. Where's this? Ain't on there. There it is.
Well, but I mean, they didn't put it on. I'm assuming that's what they quoted it based off of.
Hey, they did one's itemized, one's not.
Well, that's 12 grand, so.
Was cross 55 lot.
I'm sorry,
What was it,
55 lot
55 what?
cross.
I don't know, they got
55, 387.
43, 750 on this.
I think Midwest came in.
Yeah, they came,
55, 387.
yeah, they came in at 43,750.
About 12,000 apart.
I'll make the motion, we accept Midwest Asphalt's
It'll
bid.
be a spring project too, summer.
Oh, yeah,
Summer
yeah.
23.
You don't want chloride and stuff in it anyway.
It'll be a spring project anyway.
You want to submit the entire agenda, see what they'll just pay? See if they'll pay anything.
G Street will be done by then.
You need a second or
Hold on.
first or what?
You gotta write them down.
Stop big no for it, I guess. About
$100 a square yard, I think. $120 a square yard, I think.
Pretty good.
All right, Ryan, motion for Midwest.
Second, Bob second, I didn't second.
Trustee Finley.
Yes.
Trustee Mitchell.
Yes.
Trustee Sheets.
Yeah,
Trustee Wash, Koviac,
Yes.
Weir,
Yes.
Trustee Weidenberger.
Next.
I'm glad you wrote that down. I need to make a motion to make West 15th Street two-way from now on.
No, we already did that.
I'll do that.
Yeah, it was a one-way.
I thought we did that.
No, we didn't do it.
Behind dollars.
Only,
Maybe they
only,
talked about it.
only Connie Weddle does. it. Huh?
No, I don't go down.
Only Connie.
Yeah, and it was the wrong, yeah, it's the wrong way.
It's one way the wrong.
I said, did somebody make it? I'll make it if somebody did.
I did.
I'll second.
Jerry has 6 feet.
Yeah.
We have to vote then?
Trustee Finley. Trustee Mitchell. Trustee Sheets.
Yes.
Trustee Koviac.
Yes.
Trustee Weidenberger.
Well, I actually believe it. I think when that was built, I think we made a motion to make it one way.
Yeah,
I think we did. I thought, we must have that conversation.
we made it one way just so people would not come through that residence, and now the residences want to make it two-way so they can take a shortcut.
Don't tell the cops, but I do it anyway. Next.
Next, I'm sorry, Joe's next.
Okay, well, I'll give you a summary here of what's happened.
Thanks, Joe, for calling EPA on that stuff too.
Yeah, I did that. So, what's happened with the MS4, the drainage district? I'm Joe Gleisner. I assist the village with their drainage and some engineering work. The website was repaired and updated. There's more information on the stormwater management website on villages. Brian did a nice job of getting the links repaired and the data updated, so it's organized more and all the links are working. That's helpful. I use that a lot in the field if I'm looking at things to see if something has changed with the monitoring data, and I can look back at the reports and tell if that happened. And so what's happened down the flood zone, we did get through there, Mayor, and the water level was low and most of the vegetation was off the trees. We took about 400 observations through the floodplain, the cross section. Now I have a whole file in here of that floodplain down through there on Great Creek from generally Washington Avenue up to Kingsdale. We did up to where the flood zone starts, about where Monroe Street stops. And I'm still working on my points there, but the control data is in there. And so I took a lot of photos and generated the report. And what I was thinking about while I was doing this, the general NPDES permit Illinois R40, which is what we operate under, regarding the Tilton MS4 requires developing and implementing a process to assess the water quality impacts in the design of all new and existing flood management projects that are associated with the permitting for that discharge to the MS4. That's probably upstream, downstream now, that language. This process must include considerations of controls that can be used to minimize impacts to site water quality and hydrology while still meeting the project objectives. This will also include assessment of potential impacts of the effects of flood management projects due to climate change. We might anticipate a lot more low water and bigger storms faster coming down these over the years. When we run these hydraulic calculations, we assume what the rainfall is going to be. Some of those 100-year storms we're getting more often than once every 100 years, it appears. And so that changes how the storm sewer systems were designed and how often they can handle it. And so going through the flood zone there, I've generated a map to try to comply with that. And I took the photographs out, but Dale, you were mentioning downstream of the box culvert on Route 1, there's the log jam. I took a picture of that. We would probably have to get permission from RP Lumber, and maybe you can stage some equipment. I've kind of leadered in some guidance of where I think you can get equipment down there. Maybe you can strap that and cut it loose on the sides and maybe pull it back upstream a ways where you can yank it out and not rip all the other vegetation out and have the
Well, we're
wheels.
just looking to work, I'll just told them.
Yeah.
They do have a few down there.
And then the other spot is on Washington Street where the ground riprap's in, there's a buildup there. I measured that. We broke down and here's my calculation sheet of how to get the survey data and calculated 21 cubic yards of material there. And so my recommendation is of that material, maybe stage some equipment coming down the alley to the west of there and onto the Village Jones 2 lots there on the northern side of where that's at, and getting the material off and in maybe a 1-ton dump truck. And I would recommend putting that up in that sledge lagoon we're filling in at the VOT deactivated treatment plant. And so working my way upstream then, where the concrete wall is just to the east of where the pump stations are there at the Jefferson Street. This would be downstream where the buttons are where the old pedestrian bridge went across. There's a tree across there. Might be able to cut it loose. It might float down and hang up at the next rainfall event. And then working my way upstream from there. Now, I have Larry sent me the plans for the manholes where he wants to leave those in place, and there's 8-inch sanitary sewers. They're talking about replacing those with 12-inch. Was there any thought of removing the manhole, moving the manhole that's in the cross section of downstream of the Keaton Street Bridge? There's a sanitary.
Yeah, we're moving it.
Are you? I was wondering if that could, his plan shows leaving that and doing that. I thought, can we talk to him about, let me see if he'll let.
Yeah, we made an update to that. though.
Did you? Okay.
I'm negotiating with TJ right now, the price of it.
I see. And then immediately upstream of that, and I believe, looking at the evidence out in the field, it's even a little bit upstream of the alley. There's a restriction in the stream there. I think that the rock is caved in on one side. And I think that's the choke point. Looking at that survey data of a stream flowing, it's nice and smooth through town, and the channel that's unrestricted, there's a restriction there. I think it has potential to not let enough water through there and back up on those residents. Now, the next resident that he owns that property, but he also owns there at the bend where you would come down the grass alley between Monroe. He has a berm around his property, on his property. I believe the berm is on Adams Street right away, and then goes around the back side of his garage. And then where the water comes around the bend there at the alley, that's washed out on that bend, and the tree roots are eroded really bad. I almost wonder if what happened during the high flows is the berm will hold back water on him the way his berm is washed out.
Is that where they want?
The berm will hold back water.
Yeah,
It's not complete. It's broken on the west side of it. And as that water flows through, it'll probably hold it on him. And so it might be a good idea to remove the berm or repair the berm, but that band is pretty eroded. The tree roots might need to think about some riprap there. Then the next spot that I was concerned about is if you go down South Monroe, between there and the railroad to the west, there's a gigantic tree stump in there. It's about 5 foot in diameter. It covers the whole. It's just where the tree company is. There's that Carlson there. It's on their property, I believe, but it's.
We got.
tree fell over.
Carlson cut up the tree.
Yeah.
Stump out, we just got notified about it. So we went down, we're gonna address the tree stump.
So what are you gonna do to it?
Remove it.
How are you gonna get it out? Joe, I don't know.
Right.
I bring a helicopter and fly.
No, it's pretty big.
I don't know.
I didn't know if you'd look at it.
No,
Okay, I didn't know if it's slope is steep without getting the wheels on the property, but lifted that.
Whose property is that?
Rosville.
Okay.
The house, the other house on Monroe, Herbie's talking about, it's just south of Keegan. It's on the
Old house.
left-hand side, no, we're on Monroe, south of,
On the west
south of
side?
Keegan.
Talk about-
We got the east side, it's the yellow house, I cannot think of the name.
Oh, that's right.
That berm's been there for as long as I can remember in the backyard.
They probably built it up.
It's grass and everything, it's been built.
Steve Lyman? No.
Monroe Street.
Oh, Monroe.
I'm Tom
I
Bailey.
respect you, okay?
I'd like to leave that sort of thing.
Bates.
Gene Bates?
Bates, that's the name.
We just got notified about the stuff,
The stump just came in,
like Wednesday or Tuesday or Wednesday. So,
Doug Ray went down and evaluated it.
Gene lives on the west side of Monroe.
And so,
it's okay.
sorry about that, you guys.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, so in order to comply with the language about how all this impacts the water quality issues, we've had that issue with that rust colored water in Grape Creek. Now, there's the confluence there at that location on south, and then it goes back to the south towards West Ross Lane. I did communicate with several people with the US EPA and generated a report of our history of our monitoring data. And they said, in looking at that stretch of creek with the discolored water that you observed, that area lies within the operable unit 2 of the Hegler zinc site. The data collected from the site by both the Illinois EPA and US EPA show that there are indeed high levels of iron found in those areas. It is my understanding that the EPA plans sediment removal in this area. And so then the project manager for that, I've been in communication with, they do have a meeting scheduled with that December 7th at the DAC, Danville Area Community College Brimmer Center. It's from 5:30 till 8 o'clock PM to discuss both what their proposed remedies are for the OU1 portion and the OU2 portion of the Hegler Zinc Superfund site. And so that's Wednesday, December 7th. And I believe Tilton's going to be on the mailing list for what's happening with this, is what they told me. And so that'll be helpful to meet everybody. And I believe Illinois EPA is going to be there also, is what the communications I've had. And then in addition to that, speaking with her, she said she didn't believe a lot of the rust colored water might not be all coming from the Hegler zinc. And so I did get a phone call from a gentleman with the Illinois Department of Natural Resources Mine and Minerals Abandoned Reclamation Office. And he said back in 1994, they did do some remediation work there at the V-Day mine. And there's some treatment ditches and some things out there. And he explained that it could be contributing once this oxidizes and precipitates, and that can show up some orange material. He was going to do some testing and see if there's something that if it has anything to do with that mine site.
Don't walk through the ballpark wood, Joe.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Don't walk through the ballpark wood, Joe. That stuff coming out of the hillsides all over there.
Is it that will?
Did we take testing
Could
of
be
that?
filled from the.
It's just, it's a coal, it's from a coal, the old coal company. It's just like iron ore, it just pumped out of the ground.
Did they move the slag or the spoils and dump it in different areas and things?
So this is coming natural, but it's coming straight out of the ground.
Yeah, it's
just
iron.
high iron content.
That particular mine, he was going to send me some, what the original plans were, a glance at those, and then he had some abilities to overlay some mining maps on top of aerial photogrammetry, and I'm expecting those.
So I'm trusting that you find around here.
Yeah, and so as far as what I was recommending after looking at the Army Corps of Engineers, what their jurisdiction is about removing debris and things from the streams down there, and they've got nationwide permits. They require notices and some things, and there's limits on cubic yards per linear foot where my measurements are and things. They do have the ability to do a site meeting or request a site meeting. So for everything up and down that stream right there, I'm recommending that we fill out this form and send it to them along with my report there. And mention that we'd like to have a site meeting with them to look at each one of these individual locations, especially where the washout is and the tree roots, and what it would be required to obtain permits to maybe remediate that in the future. And so I was requesting your authorization.
Is
to
there
try to-
funding involved from the engineers for this, or
Is there what now?
funding available for what we're gonna do, the remediation and all that?
I have not identified any funding for any of this at all. No, that I have not. This was just communication with recommendations about going through the stream and complying with this. I know the village has equipment, and a workforce, and, we could identify what those costs might be with, the engineering, and then identify whether that workforce can be utilized for that.
Let me ask you this, is it possible that they can come in here and end up forcing us to do a multi-million-dollar project on that creek?
I have no idea.
That's what we gotta be careful of. If they're not funded, we gotta be careful, you know what I'm saying, Jeff? Because
And so,
we're a small community, limited funds.
yeah, I recognize that.
That's what I'm saying, I don't know how they operate by coming in here and go, this is what you need to do. Now that we observed it, we're gonna force you to get this completed, type thing. Or these are our recommendations, take care of it as.
Because who paid for the Egler's Inc.?
Yeah.
I just wanna be careful, I don't wanna all of a sudden have the Army Corps tell us we got a $2 million project, so we have to take care of it. You know,
Yeah, I don't know what they would probably say. Most of the time I've dealt with them, there were restrictions on when you can do things, water levels. They're concerned about the wildlife. I was looking for nests when we were through there. I talked to 4 residents about their property, where we could park, where we couldn't park. What they've observed since, how the conditions have alleviated since we, underneath the Kingsdale Bridge, where it used to be washed out with too much water through, and some of these other bridges have been restricted, that's been minimized. So that was helpful as I was surveying through, plus we have the map and the measurements, because that particular flood zone does not have the elevations listed on there. It's just saying in between these lines is the flood zone. The other ones up the Vermilion River, there was, at least before the dams were removed, there was elevation lines, and those could be used to get letters of map amendments with the insurance and revisions and things if you were.
I don't mind, I ain't got a problem, just whatever you do, be careful, don't get us locked in.
What's the Illinois EPA gonna remediate in this creek?
Well, the US EPA was talking that stretch of creek that they were going to remove some sediment.
Does that go all the way through town, or is that?
They did not have the limits of where that was,
If
but
it's going all the way through town, they can remove the trees and all that while they're there.
I'd have to look at what they said, the operable unit 2, so I'd have to look at the map and see exactly where their limits are. I think the December 7th meeting, I'll have more information about.
Because it's the settlements in south of Ross Lane, the settlements all the way through town.
It is.
I mean, no common sense tells you it's gonna be settlement all the way through town.
Yeah, now,
It's red all the way through town, so that settlement's gotta go somewhere.
it's heavier upstream, the confluence of where the 2 branches merge by Monroe Street.
Mhm.
Back there to about a couple hundred yards south of the water tower. And then I was really looking close when we had the instrument out there, we were looking, and maybe a few hundred feet to 100 yards downstream of that confluence where those 2 merge, you can still see maybe some reddish tint in the sediment. But whatever it is, oftentimes when I look, it's cloudy, the water is cloudy, and you can see the confluence that heads back towards Kingsdale is clear, and that clouds it up, and then it runs cloudy through town, so,
Pretty much after that fort and then in the creek.
yeah. And so, that's what I normally observe with the Army Corps of Engineers when I've dealt with them. Now, I don't want to speak for what they require on, if they find something that I didn't know about, I don't know. But I just think would feel better about, instead of going back and forth to try to comply with getting the permits, would be a site meeting with all these spots and say, we're looking to do this, what's required?
Just go a direction that's not gonna cost us millions of dollars forcibly.
Okay. Yeah,
I mean, we're all in to get the creek open, because we've done a little bit, hell, I was 15 years old, we walked the creek.
yeah, I believe most of the things, except for the engineering that can be done, the village has equipment and personnel, we can probably do that in-house, as long as we know that the operator is going to be cautious, not have the heavy wheels on the tree roots and things of that nature.
You be cautious.
Do we have a cost?
Blackboard doesn't get us locked.
I think we need to step back. We got a cost estimate for this?
No, I don't, no, I mean, I haven't done a
It
cut.
probably needs to be approved from the board for them to move forward with this report. And we haven't had time to review it, so it needs to be tabled until we can review it as a committee.
Yeah, then get final approval.
Yeah, from the board. So that way we're doing things the right way.
It's not on for,
Not on the agenda tonight to vote on.
anyway.
For the creek rescue.
Yeah, so I'd like to have time to review that with my committee before we move forward with things.
Let me see if I had anything else on. Okay, nope, that's it. Oh, the IDNR, I might want to do a site visit. Meet with the site, maybe we'll get samples or something.
We sent some samples off already, Joe.
Did you?
Yeah, we sent them to the independent lab in Peoria.
For the, where were,
Correct.
okay,
So we took them on the west side of that pipe was inlet with the chemical plant. And we took them on both sides of the creek, that pipe.
okay, for the white material.
Yeah.
Right. That's a different area that.
Yes, it is.
And so,
We sent it off this year, with any chemicals coming from that chemical plant. Okay. Thank you, Joe. Is this the ordinance annex?
Yeah, we gotta get it on.
Okay.
It's rounded.
Okay, need a motion to do ordinance annex 149044 and 14960 Captain Tilton Road.
What two houses is that, Dave?
Right here. Yeah.
Oh,
It's-
they back there?
They're surrounded. And I was looking through the map the other day and I noticed those two houses are surrounded, so we can take them now.
Alright.
And make them,
We'll notify the owners out there.
yeah, they'll have to be notified, but our attorney will do the whole process.
I'll make the motion. With the zip code being 618. All right. Can we put that in the annexation? All right, good.
Trustee Finley,
Yes.
trustee Mitchell,
Yes.
trustee Sheets,
Yeah.
trustee Wescoviac,
Yes.
Weir,
Yeah.
Weidenberger.
Like, you got anything besides what you had earlier?
Real quick, Tiffany and I have been working the last 2 months with Congresswoman Mary Miller's office and her staff to rectify some of the zip code issues that we're having and town or the wrong city on people's driver's license due to the United States Postal Service. Last week, I submitted a formal report to the Congresswoman's office. So they have, they got some heads rolling up and higher ups in the post office to try to get this moving because she is set to leave our district as of January 6th, I think is when they take their new districts. So they're trying to get that resolved before she leaves our district and it no longer represents us. And I'm not sure they might be able to continue since they started before she left us. They might be able to continue that work, but they're hoping to get some answers to us before the first of the year. So for those of you that aren't aware, pretty much the old Central Park area is having issues where the post office does not recognize them as Tilton 61833. They're recognizing a lot of the residential areas as Danville 61832. So we are assuming that might be affecting some of our census data as well. So we're trying to get some of that stuff squared away. And we've been working diligently. So as soon as I have an update from them, I'll let you guys know. Yeah,
My brother got a package the other day. It said Central Park on it.
yeah. And a lot of the times people in that area, if you go to put it into an online store to buy something, it will not take, it refuses to take Tilton. It will say the United States Postal Service wants this address. And, you know, some of our streets, Danville has those streets. And yes, theirs is north and south and ours is east and west. There's been times that they've got delivered the wrong places, where you start looking at like the number streets with Fish Street here or Fish Street in Danville. There's times that stuff gets delivered because they're recognizing certain addresses as Danville, Illinois, and that's not the case.
Streets in Danville are east and west, the same as they are.
Yeah, and that's they're identical. So, and it happens all the time. And we've had several complaints over the years, and so we've kind of been trying to. Yeah.
It's also affecting the ambulance and fire departments. They're getting dispatched to the wrong
Yeah, so, and I don't know, I speak from everybody, but I'm proud to live in the village of Tilton, and I would like my ID and my address to say the village of Tilton, not Danville, Illinois. So,
You can't get a credit card to say Tilton.
no, all my credit card zip codes are 61832.
Really?
Here down 1909 Washington, power company called and said, well, I'm up here. I don't see a 1909 Washington. They were in Danville. I'm
Well,
like,
And in the United States government, they keep postponing it because of COVID, but in order to fly, I think I think October of next year, you have to have it, you have to have what they call the real ID. And in order to get that real ID, you have to have two proofs of residency, which is a piece of mail. Your credit card statement works and something else, well, those come Danville, Illinois, 61832, your driver's license. My driver's license got changed to 61832. I argued with the lady at the DMV who is in our town, and they would not change it because I got the real ID and they have to go by what the mail says. Even so, the post office pushes the blame off onto the fire board or to the communications board. They have been in talks over the years with Tiffany. They recognize Tilton, obviously, because we have a fire district here and a police district, and they have no problems recognizing us there, but the post office does not get on board, and the local reps here and the postmaster will not give Tiffany the time of day and hasn't for
well,
years.
and the fire, 911, we notify them every time we annex property.
Yeah.
So they're aware of everything that we're doing, and we tell them, and that the postmaster, like, they've said they were gonna meet with David a few times over the years too, and they never show up.
So we're hoping to get that rectified because there's quite a few houses that have that issue.
A lot of them.
And like I said, it's mostly on the Central Park
I'm
side.
not really sure a new rep that lives in Chicago would actually know all about this.
Probably not. So that's why we're trying to get it taken care of now.
I guess Chicago zip code.
Yeah, probably.
That's where she lived at.
Yep, yep.
I'm done though. That's all I have.
Virgil. Don't forget to pay their turkeys.
Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to
I gotta
say.
hear.
Everybody needs to
I just don't have it.
remember to get their turkeys for a couple weeks. Well, you make dressing.
I got almost up on both.
Virgil said drop them off at his house.
No. That's what Ryan, yeah. Hey, something else. I've noticed lately, a lot of residents is getting bad about leaving these garbage cans out in the damn street.
Told you about that front pickup.
A lot of times.
I like the front pickup.
A
but
lot of times.
I get my can.
A lot of
every night.
times it's not the residents though. The Republic's the biggest one. They don't stop when they pick those cans up. They continue and they drop them where they fly. And people that don't work, that work third shifts or they're not home right away, they don't get home to pick them up.
They're there the next day or so.
Well, I'm not saying everybody. I'm just saying certain people.
Realize it's Thursday down the street.
That's
Oh,
true
boy.
too.
They just don't.
Problem is, you're just lazy.
Yeah, that's right.
Picks up on Tuesday, train comes Wednesday, half maybe here Monday. So they're out there because you don't know what day their trash is being picked up.
Well, I'm talking about the Republic blue
And
can.
And if you watch it, go follow Republic Truck one day and you'll know why. You'll say, okay, never mind. We should be finding Republic, not the residents.
Comes in the holiday.
Next Tuesday.
Tuesday.
All right.
All right, Virgil, what do you want to do about it?
Huh?
To make an ordinance to make a movement in or something?
Well, they're supposed
That's not
to.
on the agenda.
I think when they took over, they supposed to. Yeah, I think
We'll
they
do it
weren't
next
supposed
month.
to put them out till the night before.
When you send the stuff, the attorney asks what we can do about garbage.
I think it's already in the ordinance.
Well, you should read it. Let us know.
I think it's already in there when we passed
The
it.
biggest problem with the Republic is they skip people. And so then they tell them they'll be back the next day to pick them up and they don't show up. They tell them they'll be back the next day, they don't show up. I mean, it's not uncommon. My trash day is Tuesday, but it's not uncommon for my trash day to be Friday.
Well, they want that
Really?
fuel
Oh,
surcharge.
Mine's always on Tuesday.
They gotta get that extra fuel
But
surcharge.
I understand that arm, when they set them back down,
Supposed to stop
No,
they're
They
cockeyed.
don't set them back down. They get about here and they let go. They go fly.
Billy? Bob?
What I'd say is, talking about the addresses, about
have residents make sure they have, house numbers visible
Yes.
on the road.
That helps everybody, police, fire, EMS, everybody.
I got two of them, if you miss it.
You guys don't know your addresses? I'm just kidding. I'm joking, only joking.
Problem is, we have houses that skip, like mine's 302, but it sits on the corner, so it should be 300 in my head. But it sits on the corner, not where 302 would normally sit.
Yeah, so that's your fault. Move your house.
Hey, at least you got the right street address.
Yeah. Yeah, and you got the right.
I live on Main Street, but I have a Hill Street address.
Except I live on the corner of L Street. My neighbor behind me has the same address on J Street. So we always get each other's mail because L and a J on the mail looks a lot alike. So they are always delivering through to J to us, L to them, and
There were 3 Tiffany's on my road.
Let's
All
go.
right, I make the motion, we adjourn.
No, not yet.
No, yeah.
Don't forget about the senior dinner. And that's December 11th. Tilton Christmas Parade is December 3rd.
Yeah.
Reminder, all the board members to bring turkeys. Virgil's done a good job of that. Drop them off at Virgil's house.
I'll bring mine to you tomorrow. morning.
Alive or dead, you can drop it off at Virgil's house.
Live turkey.
throw it in the front door.
And we need to adjourn meeting to December 8th instead of the current.
Oh, I
Posted December 8th.
no, it's posted, it's been posted on the website for December 8th, so we can adjourn normally.
Just a reminder, it's December 8th.
Yeah, we've had it posted all
The
year.
other thing is, Kevin said this thing here we can't reuse because, we're trying to get all these guys sitting behind the counter too. And then we're going to build a square basically instead of the shape you are right now.
This
So, and he said they can do it.
from here to there is straight on both ends. I don't understand why you can't put that on the ends.
Well, because it's doing this stuff.
Well, you can cut the
I know,
dang
but-
thing.
Listen,
But he's gonna build out laminate instead of wood too. So it's,
Machine that lays it out.
yeah,
That, the way that angle is, it's not a true 90, it won't be able to turn and then still continue to run that way. It will put something, it's not straight. Start over here and angle there. Yes.
yeah. There has to be a square. We can't do.
So
this angle.
there's wasted space in both corners way that's angle, so this new setup feet, the space won't be wasted to utilize with the thing.
Well, I know what he wants to do. Yeah, that's fine. But I don't understand why he couldn't use both ends. I
I think
understand.
he thinks it's gonna fall apart. When that's cut.
Well, it might. I don't know. I mean, that's what he got this thing under. Was there's a seam right here.
They're the cabinet guys.
So he says he can do it for 10,000 or less.
That'll work. All right. Now can I adjourn?
No,
We have charging ports in?
no. Brian,
Brian,
And then board members, next board meeting also dress, we're gonna redo your photos for the wall. So dress up nicely.
Yes, I get to dress up like Virgil.
Like that?
Nope, you're dressing up like Joe.
Yeah, no, he's got his Sunday best on. I'm gonna have my Virgil.
We're trying to update all the photos for the village, so we're figuring to start with you guys, and we'll go from there, so.
I'll be dressed.
Can I adjourn now? Anybody else?
I got
I'll
one.
tell Billy.
Are you just
Police-
coming up with something?
Police is having trouble with Family Dollar lighting.
And Dollar Tree, they don't turn theirs on either.
So, and the Family Dollar has no light.
Well, it's because all their patrons.
So we need, address with the city ordinance to force them to put lighting on their parking lot for their customers' safety and their employees' safety.
Family Dollar, they're gonna have problems because they got a lot of wires out in their parking lot.
Yeah, I know.
We go out there all the
That's
time
part of the ordinance. They gotta,
and they don't care.
And Dollar Tree facility has the capability, they just don't turn them on, right? They haven't been on, I don't think.
Last time we were out there, we tried to set the power off the building because they had 5 wires and they didn't want to do nothing about it.
so it needs to be addressed.
Who owns the Dollar Tree,
One of
right?
the employees are complaining about them. They found 4 or 5 syringes on the parking lot now. They're doing drugs. on the parking lot.
Who owns the Dollar Tree facility? It just was sold.
Dollar, Family Dollar.
Yeah.
The people that own Family Dollar, no, I'm talking about Dollar Tree.
What's Jim Woods? Is he just a developer? Or has he got an interest in it?
Tell them to turn their lights on too.
Huh? Paul Tapman.
Chapman.
Jim Woods is involved that.
He's not.
Dollar Tree, somebody, one of them businesses should have a controller in there for the parking lot, whether they ain't got it turned on or what, or they didn't wire it in or something. There's lights there, they don't on, they're not on.
Send the fire department in for inspection.
Josh has been doing a fantastic job on the trailer park. I just want to say thank you.
Yes,
Because it's not illuminated. There's lots of blighted properties.
I'm just thinking, if we don't
Good
have
point,
a
Josh.
ordinance to force people, businesses with proper lighting, we need to do that.
Well, then when Tiffany calls the lawyer, she can,
So this is my recommendation. If they don't put the lighting, we need to fine them, just like anybody else.
true that.
That trailer park, I mean, for $8 is what I pay Emery.
Yeah. I mean, we do the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Emmer puts them in, as long as you agree to pay for them for 2 years, they put them in for free.
Yep.
Want to be there.
Okay, so
But the employee's been asking me about family house, so that's why I brought it up. Because there wasn't something done.
works. How can I?
Now you can make a motion.
I make the motion, we adjourn.
One more thing.
Nope, too late. I made it.
Trustee Finley.
Yes.
Trustee Mitchell.
Yes.
Trustee Sheets.
Yep.
Trustee Sokoviak.
Yes.
Trustee Weir.
Yeah.
Trustee Weidenberger.
How come I didn't get to break the tie on that vote?
I'll tell you why.